2024 is officially upon us. And today, I'm so excited to be talking about the 24 books that I want to read in 2024. So, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so the first book that I'm going to talk about is a book that I actually DNF'd in 2023, and that is this one, The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. It is about our main character whose name is Florence Day, and she is a ghostwriter, basically. She's a ghostwriter for this big writer. And then she ends up getting a new boss, right? That's like really handsome. He's really great. Yeah. And Florence Day has just gotten out of a breakup. So she tells this man that she doesn't feel like writing happy, cheesy romance endings. And this guy's like, I don't give a shiznit. Okay. I don't give a shiznit about your relationship. You got a job to do. So you got to do it. As this is happening, she finds out that her father passed away and her father owned this like funeral home. And so she has to go back to obviously put her father to rest, and Florence Day actually has a gift. She has the gift to talk to spirits, and it's done nothing but cause her trouble, so she tries not to talk about it. She doesn't want to mention it, and so she goes to this town to go see, you know, her father and set up the funeral arrangements, when there's a knock on their door, and who's there other than the editor, and he's dead. The guy that she works for is dead, and now Florence has no choice but to help him out, figure out what happened and how to help him pass through it. It's really good, okay? It's about a girl who falls in love with a ghost. Not only the cover and the synopsis, but the synopsis also reminds me of Mediator series by Meg Cabot, which is like my favorite series when I was a teenager. I was obsessed. I finished the whole thing. I even finished the ones that she made later on when they're adults. So good. So good. I loved it so much. So I know I would love this book. I just haven't picked it up again. Next, we have The Atlas 6 by Olivie Blake. Olivie Blake? And the reason why I want to read this is because this is a dark academia book, and I love dark academia music. So why not just dive into this and see if I enjoy this? I don't know what this is about. Okay? I don't know. It says knowledge is carnage, and that's all I know. That's all I know. So coming in at number 3, the third book that I want to read in 2024 is Empire of the Vampire by Kristoff. Why I want to read this is because not only have I heard amazing, tremendous things, but I know that the second book is coming out, Empire of the Damned or something like that, and I really want to read it. But from what I know, tell me if I'm wrong, okay? Because I'm just basing this off of my memory. Is that this book is about a empire where humans once ruled it and there were vampire hunters, but now all the vampires have ended up killing all the vampire hunters and only one remains, and it is, I'm assuming, this guy, and this guy is basically about to be killed, but before he is killed he tells his life story up until that point. That's what I think this is about. I've heard that it's great. I've got a lot of big books. Side note, okay? I've got a lot of big books. I might be overly, I don't know, pushing it in 2024, but it's fine. It's fine. And this is a high fantasy, and I really want to start reading more high fantasy just because I found that I love romantasy, and I love especially the fantasy elements of romantasy, so I want to read more high fantasy. Coming in at number 4, this book was in my list last year, and it is here again, and I'm going to make sure that I read this, okay? It's an investment, okay? It's Zodiac Academy by Peckham. This series has like 12 books, so I know that it's an investment. I know that, okay? But I really did enjoy the House of Night series, which is like an academy about vampires, so I have a feeling that I would really enjoy this series if I read it. I know that it's about like these 2 twin girls, and they go to this academy, and that's all I know. That's all I know. And there's something with like magic or superpowers, or not superpowers, magic. There's something with magic, and then there's like a shifter. a dragon shifter or something like that. I don't know. That's all I know about this series. That's all I need to know. I know it's a romantasy series and it's been praised time and time again, so I know that I would really enjoy it. And I just have to pick it up. Like, I don't have any reason not to, other than the fact that I'm intimidated by the size of the series. But maybe I'll do a vlog. Maybe that'll help me. I'll do like a reading vlog where I read this series, because I think that would really like push me and motivate me to actually do it. So there's that one. All right, so coming in at number 5, we have Still Beating by Jennifer Hartman. So what I heard this is about is that it's about like two people. So we have this woman, and then we have her fiance, her sister's fiance or something like that. It's like her sister's fiance or her sister's significant other, and they end up getting kidnapped together, and they are forced to do all these crazy acts. And what this killer, this serial killer, likes to do is he likes to make these two people fall in love and do all these acts until they fall in love, and then he ends up killing them in front of each other. And that's all I know that it's about. And it's obviously a dark romance, but the concept is so extremely unique that I'm like, I need to read this. I need to read this. I just, that's it. End of story. I need to read this. Coming in at number 6, we have From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I don't know what this is about. I think this is the one. She has so many series now. She has like prequels, spin-offs. I don't even know which one. I think this is the one that's about like the maiden that has to go with like a bodyguard. She's about to be sacrificed, but then the bodyguard falls in love with her. Something like that. Something like that. Okay, all I know is that I read Jennifer L. Armentrout's like the Lux series as a teenager, and then I read the first book in like the White Hot Kiss series, or with the demon and the gargoyle guy. I really enjoyed those books. I really loved her slow burn enemies to lovers romances. She's like amazing at that. So coming in hot, we've got The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King by Carissa Broadbent. This is the sequel to The Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent, and which is basically like, picture like Hunger Games with vampires thrown in there. And we follow our main character, and she is the adopted daughter of a vampire king, even though she herself is a human, and humans in this world are viewed as like scum. They're viewed as food. Like, they're not viewed highly, okay? And we follow her as she tries to defeat all the vampires in this challenge so that she could get her wish from the goddess. And this is a second book to that series. I loved the book. I hated the ending. I was so disappointed with the ending. And I've heard very mixed reviews on this one, but I do have it, so I'm gonna read it. All right, so coming in at number 8, we have The Stardust Thief by Chelsea Abdullah. This book, I don't know what it's about. I think it's a retelling of like 1001 Nights, if I'm not mistaken, but it looks really good. It's a high fantasy, and I want to read a lot more high fantasy going into 2024, and it is also a chunkers, but there's this one. Coming in at number 9, we have A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross. Rebecca Ross is the author of Divine Rivals, which is a book that literally like people went crazy for. However, it's a YA, and I'm not a fan of YA, so I haven't picked it up, nor do I think I'm going to. But this one is a adult fantasy novel, so I am very intrigued by it. I heard it's like slow at first, but it has like a beautiful, like the way that it's written is very beautiful. So I'm excited for it. And I don't know what it's about. I think it has to do with friends and like friendship. And that's all I know. The next book that I'm going to talk about is a nonfiction, and this is the Full Spirit Workout. This is a 10-step system to shed your self-doubt, strengthen your spiritual core, and create a fun and fulfilling life. I'm like just like spiritual, so I got this in the spiritual self-transformation section, so I'm hoping it's good. I don't know too much about it, but it looks very interesting going in, so I'm very excited to read this within the new year, hopefully within the next few months as we start off the year. The next book that I want to talk about that I really want to read is Assistant to the Villain by Nichole Maehrer. She is basically like a TikTok sensation. She had this whole series where she was like thirsty for this villainous character and she's his assistant, and she decided to make a book based off of the series. I got the spray edges, which I think is so awesome, and it just looks good, okay? It just looks interesting. It looks like a very fascinating concept, like a thirsty assistant to a villain. Like, yes, give it, yeah, for sure. For sure. That's all I need to know. It's a yes. Okay, and the cover? Gorgeous. Gorgeous. So the next book that I want to talk about is Babel by R.F. Kuang. This is another one that I really want to read. Another big honker. Okay, I have a lot of big books in this list. I have a lot of big books that I want to read in 2024. Because
I like big books and I cannot lie. You other books can't deny.
Yeah. So I don't know what this is about. I know that it's about Babel, like the Tower of Babylon, and I think like languages were first made in Babylon, and that's what this is about. Next we have Year of the Witch, connecting, I can't talk. Connecting with Nature's Seasons Through Intuitive Magic by Temperance Alden, and I think she's a YouTuber, if I'm not mistaken, but this is, I'm assuming, about the Wheel of the Year, if I'm not mistaken. I could be completely wrong, but I have been following loosely like the Wheel of the Year for like the past 4 years now, but I haven't like followed it strictly to a core, and I want to know a lot more about it. So I'm very interested in this book and the topics, and again, gorgeous cover. The next book that I want to read is A New Earth, Awakening to Your Life's Purpose. We got a few nonfictions, guys, so just bear with me, and then the rest are going to be fiction, I promise, okay? And this is about awakening to your life's purpose. I know he wrote like a very like Zen book called The Power of Now that like really changed a lot of people's lives. So I really want to read this one. I heard that this one is like easier to get through than The Power of Now, and I have The Power of Now, but I want to read this one first and then read that one. And then next we have Journey to the Dark Goddess, How to Return to Your Soul. I don't know what this is about. I know that this is again another like spiritual nonfiction about the Dark Goddess, and it looks good. Okay, that's all I need to know. I've had it for years. Again, I've had it since like 2020, and I still haven't read it. And then last nonfiction, you guys. Last nonfiction. We have The Confidence Code by Katty Kay and Claire Shipman. The Science and Art of Self-Assurance and What Women Should Know. I want to read at least one nonfiction every single month. So here's to that. Cheers to that. I have a huge problem with like my self-esteem and comparing myself to others, so I'm hoping that that's going to help with that. The next book that I want to read is Blood on the Tracks by Shuzo Oshimi. The reason why I want to read this one is because I heard that if you're a fan of Junji Ito, who writes a lot of horror manga, you would really enjoy Blood on the Tracks, and that's what I want to do then. I want to jump into Blood on the Tracks just because I think the only horror manga that I have read is horror manga by Junji Ito, so I am very excited to explore horror mangas outside of that specific author, and I can't wait to see what's in store. I have a few other mangas, horror mangas, that I really want to read as well, like The Drifting Classroom, Happiness, PTSD Radio. There's just like so many that I want to read, but we're gonna start with Blood on the Tracks because I bought this one first. I don't know. And then next we have Fear the Flames by Olivia Rose Darling. This is a new adult romantasy novel that has to do with like a princess, and I know that there's dragons in it. I've heard that if you enjoyed Fourth Wing or you suffered from your Fourth Wing hangover, this book is the book to cure it. It even has like dragons at the beginning of each chapter, kind of like Fourth Wing does. There's Iron Flame. I think it's the same damn dragon too. And I'm excited for that. Yes, give me anything that has to do with dragons. I'm all here for it. Like I want to read a lot of dragons in 2024, okay? Speaking of, I also got this book. Like I said, I want to read more dragons. and it's called Promise and Fire by Jasmine Walt. This is a completed new adult fantasy series. This is another one that I just like saw keep popping up on Facebook as like, you finished Fourth Wing, what do you read now? This has the slow burn romance that we enjoy with Fourth Wing. I believe it's enemies to lovers as well, except that this one we're following like a fae who can't control like her water magic, and then we follow a dragon that has awoken from their slumber, and I'm just really interested. Okay, I haven't really seen anybody talk about this on Booktube. I want to read it. The next book that I want to read is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. So what I have heard, I've just heard that this is such a good book, and I've read like one book from V.E. Schwab, like A Darker Shade of Magic or something like that. So good. I loved it so much that I really do want to read this book. I've just heard so many good things about this. I have not heard like one bad review about this. And I believe this is about a woman named Addie LaRue who makes a deal with the devil. And she basically becomes immortal and she lives forever, but everybody that walks away from her like forgets about her as soon as they meet her. As soon as they leave her, she's forgotten. Like nobody remembers her. And that's all I know, and that's all I need to know. Just, it looks so good. I'm gonna do a whole vlog for this book and a few other books by this author, but like I said, I really want to enter my high fantasy era, and we're gonna start with The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson. This is actually going to be on my TBR for January as well. Another chunker, because I like good books and I cannot lie, but I know that this is a high fantasy series that sort of follows what happens when the bad guys win or something like that. I don't know too much of what it's about, but it's a high fantasy series that's just been praised time and time again. Brandon Sanderson, again, is an author that's just been praised tremendously. And I feel like if you want to read high fantasy, this seems to be the go-to author when you want to get started with that. So I'm going to get started with it. Next, this was in my TBR last year. Didn't happen, but it is going to happen this year. Do you know why? Do you know why? Because I'm making a vlog for it. So I'm making a vlog for this. Did you hear that? That's thunder. Holy ravioli, that's thunder. Alrighty then. So, sorry, I live in Southern California, so I'm not used to thunder or lightning at all. Anyways, I want to read A Court of Mist and Fury. I'm actually going to read the rest of the ACOTAR series in a vlog, okay? I read A Court and Thorns of Roses, have not read the rest of them. Is it because I don't like it? No, I loved A Court of Thorns and Roses, okay? I've read it twice. I just haven't continued. And so I want to make sure that that happens in 2024 because we are vlogging it by February. I'm saying it now. Damn train. By February or March. February if I'm lucky. I'm going to have a whole vlog for this series because I need to. Come on. This is like the most classic romantasy series ever. Speaking of Sarah J. Maas, I want to, and I may or may not vlog this, I want to reread the Throne of Glass series. This is the collector's edition. I have listened to them. I have not physically read them. And I have not read at all the last book, Kingdom of Ash. I haven't read it. So I might do a vlog where I read the series physically reading the series for the first time, and then finally finishing Kingdom of Ash and just vlogging that whole journey because I love this series. Okay, this was my favorite series before Fourth Wing. Last book that I'm going to finish you off with, I'm very sorry. I thought I was done with my nonfiction, but I'm not. This is called Intuitive Eating, and it's just about how to eat intuitively, and I'm going to read this in January. And I don't even want to go into this too much because I know you guys aren't in here for the nonfiction stuff. You guys are in here for the fun fiction stuff. Anyways, that is it, you guys. I would attempt to carry this, but I think that would go very badly. Very badly. This is half of it. Oh, Anyways, you guys, that is it. That is all. These are all the books that I want to read in you can't even see them. Oh my gosh. Let me grab more. So these are all, not all. These are 24 books that I want to read in 2024. Let me know what are your top 3 or your number 1 book that you really want to get to in 2024 or your number 1 series that you really want to get to in 2024. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.